has emerged from South Africa. As you may be aware, the court case involving the body of the late President Edgar Chagwa has proceeded. And from the look of things, it's not going to be televised. So we're just going to be hearing the outcomes of the court proceedings when the documents are circulated. So as you may be aware, yesterday, 18th July 2025, was one of the dates that was highlighted as one of the hearings. So it is in this hearing that some details have come off where the Zambian government, through the Attorney General and the South African lawyers that they're using, presented some information to court. And they decided to be as honest as possible. I mean, the Attorney General is a lawyer by profession, so he cannot hold back the truth. So he presented some truths which have been trending the last 48 hours, people reacting to what happened. So Kabesha makes telling admission in Gauteng High Court. So this happened today. That's the Attorney General of Zambia, Anthony Kabesha, the one that pretty much put an injunction to the burial of Edgar Chagwa Lungu. It should be like a month ago now, or some weeks ago. So in the admission to the court, so we stopped former President Edgar Lungu from traveling to South Africa and from traveling to South Korea and also South Africa. Mulilo Kabesha admitted. So he was going to use the event for political purposes, according to part of the. And then it is correct that the president was prevented from attending the World Peace Summit during the September 2023 and a church service on 9th September 2023. So pretty much all the cases that the Patriotic Front and the family spokesperson put up across to say Edgar Lungu was prevented to move around, and he also was prevented to also attend to his medical condition in South Africa. So the Attorney General has admitted, and there are dates that have been submitted to the court. So it's this, they said. Kabesha also admitted that they stopped President Lungu from accessing medical treatment on September 2023 because he did not disclose the nature of the type of disease or the specialized treatment for. So that's the argument. And then the applicant refused to grant the late president permission to visit South Africa during September 2023. This is because the late president did not provide the applicant, with any particulars of the medical treatment he allegedly had to undergo. So on the other side, the Lungu family is arguing to say the medical records of the president are always known. So in as much as the Edgar Lungu had left State House, his medical records were still with the government institutions, meaning the new government had access to that. So pretty much they knew that. So it's that debate that is coming up. And then also Kabesha also insisted that President Hakainde Hichilema is entitled to attend the funeral and burial of the late president as a matter of his duty. So he admitted that government's move to prevent the funeral program by obtaining court intervention was caused by the distress, but he blamed its family and for proceedings with the agreement of the burial without alleged consent of authority from the state. And then Mama Esther Lungu's lawyer is expected to offer a reply on 25th July 2025 and the court hearing. So that's the next date. So all those dates and submissions were coming from the Attorney General. That's pretty much the main government. So the reply from KB Zulu is likely to come on the 25th of July, according to that. And those are the court documents that have surfaced from the submission. So pretty much some of the highlights say the applicant refused to grant President Lungu permission to visit South Africa during September 2023. This was because the late Lungu did not provide the applicant with a particular, the applicant in this case, this is the state, the Zambian government, particulars of his medical treatment. And then so finally, I should also point out that the late president was Lungu entered the border of the Republic of South Africa in January 2025 through a diplomatic passport under the circumstances where he had been ill from last to 2015. So pretty much those are the details that have come from this story. So yes, we blocked Lungu. Obviously, that news is circulating there, and the court documents are surfacing, and that's what's going on. But on the other hand, Grace on the massacre, this is a chief communication specialist from State House, is quoted to say, we can't waste money on sending people to negotiate with Lungu family. This is attributed to a news article coming from the news diggers. So it seems like they had an interview with Grace on the massacre, who they've quoted there, and they say, government wouldn't waste money sending people to negotiate with Lungu family state. So the State House chief communication specialist, Cresson Hamasaka, has dismissed claims that government has released 500,000 kwacha and sent a delegation to South Africa to discuss the repatriation of former President Edgar Chagwa remains, saying he does not believe public funds would be wasted on such matter. A post on the official, according to that document. So they say, no new delegation, which contradicts the submission that was made by the president. If you remember, should have been like just less than 24 hours ago, where the president was saying some engagement is still ongoing with the Lungu family. And then they've said, Grace on the massacre, to say no delegation has been sent of that nature. So that's a new revelation coming through. Obviously, from there also, the Patriotic Fund also puts up the images when Lungu was trying to leave the country, and then when he managed to leave the country, pretty much they highlight all the documents based on the time that he was blocked in Ndola, the time he was blocked at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, and the time he traveled as a private citizen, and when he landed in South Africa, and where he was waiting for an Uber in South Africa. There, so there's an images have attached. Yes, we stopped former President Lungu from travel to South Korea, which was area highlighted in that court document, and travel to South Africa for medical treatment, and travel to Ndola for church service. Attorney General. So those are some of the highlights from the submission coming from Attorney General, and some of the pictures of Lungu's travel are also circulating there. So obviously the court documents there that you see, and then the times that he was blocked, those are some of the images that have been circulating. That's still the court document from South Africa. The time that he landed there, I'm pretty sure you've seen this image already. It is correct that the late president was prevented from attending the World Peace Summit. Pretty much the same information that the area submitted, and you can see the court document there is signed. And government explains blocking Lungu's travel in 2023. Edgar Lungu never expressed his wish to be buried in South Africa, but he clearly wished to be afforded the dignified send-off in Zambia. Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha has told the South African High Court. Kabesha has further submitted that government denied Lungu permission to travel to South Africa in September 2023, and the reasons area presented to you. So that's what's going on with the court case. And obviously, I say government insists that Hichilema is entitled to attend Lungu's burial. Pretty much so, Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha has insisted that President Hakainde Hichilema is entitled to attend the funeral and the burial of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu as a matter of duty. Kabesha, in an affidavit submitted before South African High Court, stated that Lungu never expressed the wish to be buried in South Africa, and his wish was that he be accorded a burial and the state benefits his station as former president leads to, and pretty much is entitled to include, in conclusion, that is the place of burial shall be at Embassy Park. So that's part of the submission coming from the state. And then obviously the National Assembly responds to lawyer Jonas Zimba and gives a response. So if you remember, this is to do with Tessila Lungu's seat that the speaker is likely to rule on this coming week. And then also leave Lungu funeral debate out of Parliament. Muti tells Lunte member of Parliament there, so he was trying to ask the Vice President. And obviously, on the other hand, Chifetayari seems to be going through a lot wherever he is. So people now have been circulating images. The image that you see is of Chifetayari with the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the time he was a serious praise singer for Edgar Chagwa. But then he flipped and literally started striking at the former first family and stuff like that. And it seems like he's having a medical condition. And from the documents that he's published, he's in Colombia. He's in Colombia, and seems to be somewhat stranded. So he put up a video where he was asking for medical help. He's having some stomach issues. And then pretty much he explains his medical condition and what is going on with that issue. And people are just laughing at him to say, mouth for hire. Now he's they're saying for 2026, when he was a praise singer for Edgar Chagwa for a long period of time. And let me play you a video that people are circulating of what he's saying and the reasons he's using to strike at the former first family. Just stand by and let me play you a video of Shifet so that you listen.
I'm lying if it is not about your Esther. Tell me, who is the next of kin? Who is the next of kin? Because these things I was not talking about it. I was pulling back. But now especially with some of these people that are even going Kuma funders. They have gone Kuma funders. I'm a funders now, course now kakenda la manumba. They want me to starve. They want me to suffer. They want me to suffer. I have not received any money from the people that committed that they will be helping me. The people that pay for this apartment, they have not sent any money and they have gone quiet. Because of you. Because of you, Maester. And you think I'm going to starve? I'm not going to starve. You must start. You have salary over Yamdara. I know you have got a salary. That salary which you don't get, please start sending it to me. I'm not coming back to Zambia, but Karaka salary mdalo folakaja. Kuti kansunga kala. I mean, you don't need that salary. So let me start getting paid already. Let me start getting paid. Karaka salary mdala hata inge ichirema. Kuna na ibi ndasa muntu andi. Na ibi.
So it seems like Shifetari is going through a lot, honestly. He's all over the place there. So in that video, you hear him making an appeal to President Hakainde Hichilema to start sending him money because the people that have been funding in Shifetari, wherever he's been staying, are actually more inclined to Edgar Chagwa. So pretty much it's people from Edgar Chagwa's camp. I don't know. He hasn't disclosed the name, but he has admitted to say it's people from Edgar Chagwa. Now, one would wonder to say, if Edgar Chagwa was a person that funded him for the court cases that he had in Zambia, pretty much funded his lifestyle, then he goes to Edgar Chagwa dies, and then now he starts striking at Edgar Chagwa, forgetting that even the place where he's staying there in Colombia is being paid for people. So the people that are paying for him, it's because they liked Edgar Chagwa, and then because he was in good books with Edgar Chagwa and they are sponsoring Shifetari. But because of his recent live streams, I don't know if he's in his effort to try to get back to the country, he's been striking. So people are saying it's fine for him to change his point of view and start supporting President Hakainde Hichilema. Where the problem comes in is where he literally starts bashing the late president Edgar Chagwa and striking at him. People are wondering to say, wait, a person that literally funded you and supported you throughout his life until his death, even now he's admitting the people that are supporting him are from Edgar Chagwa's camp. Then you strike at him. What makes Hakainde Hichilema different? If you didn't support him then, now that you're between a rock and a hard place, you want to switch and start supporting Hakainde Hichilema. So people would question to say, your loyalty is to your mouth. It's not the loyalty to anything in this case. There he admits, he says, no, he wants President Hakainde Hichilema to start sending him his salary. On what grounds? And yeah, so he admits that to say he's only doing this because the people from Makebi Zulu's camp and the Edgar Chagwa camp have contacted the people that have been funding him in Colombia, and they've told them to stop sending him money. And that's why he's now in this precarious situation and calling for help. This is the problem people make. It's the same situation that played out with Shimbakambwili. If you remember, at some point, Shimbakambwili was like whatever Shimbakambwili says, it was like gospel truth, and he was almost becoming like the Republican vice president. But the mistake he made was thinking people will follow him regardless. So when he flipped from President Hakainde Hichilema and went back to the PF and started striking at President Hakainde Hichilema, the people simply said, excuse us with that. And now the situation is Chimbagambwe is this. Chimbagambwe is in prison now, right now. Here, these are images coming from Chimbagambwe. Crown TV had access of some sort. They went to the prison system and they captured him. So people are just saying how the mighty have fallen. They did not anticipate how the situation would play out for Chimbagambwe. But now, look at the situation. So Chifetari now, he even went further now to start appealing to President Hakainde Hichilema. He's done a lot. It seems like he's going through a lot. He's been cornered. The tap of the resources he was receiving have clearly been shut down. And now he's trying his best to get back home, but he doesn't want to be arrested. He stated it in part of the submissions that is made online. There he goes, Mayo, I'm at the hospital that's in Colombia. These tests are expensive. Just abdominal ultrasound is 16,000. And I have 2 more tests. And he says, I'm just going back home to go and die. The costs are just beyond him. So he was appealing to say, his funders are not coming through for him. And then he shares the video. He goes further to explain his situation. And that's the time he was in the hospital. And then people are just saying, coward, the people in his comment section. Coward, don't start what you can't finish. Just come back to and face the jail sentence is waiting for you. People are just, so the sympathy is not even there. People are like, excuse us. So he put up a document where he's appealing to President Hakainde Hichilema. Now he says, dear President Hakainde Hichilema, please bring me back home and send me to the hospital, but don't take me to prison. I am not a criminal. So he's written to President Hakainde Hichilema. There, let me play you part of the other video. Shilufia.
Because it was not Lungu that was sponsoring me. There were other people. But since all these things started, they have been going, whatever. They have cut the funding. Be happy. So you want to treat me. My name will treat you number. We will go. You call repeating number. Muleshini I'm not going to get stranded. I'm not going to get stranded. But in damage Stephen on that. Damage Stephen on. You know, sponsor kutatashani, sponsor kutatashani. Number sponsor next week drama Muleshini Kisha. You thought you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are shooting yourself in the foot. You would have left the sponsor spending the money. No sponsor. No. Stop you, whatever. It is not Lungu, no. But yes, the people that were helping me, they are connected to Lungu. But Esther, na kebizulu wa wana wa nyanta pandam.
So there he admits to say the people that were funding him were coming from Edgar Lungu's camp. Now, I don't know the logic that he's using here, Shifetari. If you know that the people that are funding your lifestyle are more inclined to Edgar Lungu, then why start striking at the family? That's what makes no sense. Because he would have simply started supporting President Hakainde Hichilema and campaigning for him as a presidential candidate. You don't start striking at people that are not attacking you, because that family really did not strike at him. So it's funny. But anyway, he's appealing to President Hakainde Hichilema to bring him back to the country without arresting him. But I don't see why would President Hakainde Hichilema be inclined to that. Because if you remember, when Chifetari had the voice, he was totally against President Hakainde Hichilema in 2021 and fighting him. Even up to the time that Edgar Lungu almost died thereabout. He was still inclined to striking at President Hakainde Hichilema. Now that he sees that the situation is hard, now he wants to play in the good graces of President Hakainde Hichilema and says, no, start sending me your salary or bring me back to Zambia, which I think is seriously losing his mind. I hope he's okay, because it's looking wild for Chilufia. There it goes, President Hakainde Hichilema, bring me back home, whatever. He's written a letter. I'll post it on the community tab. You can have a look at it. And yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then state admits blocking Edgar Chagwa Lungu from travel. So obviously that's in the Daily Nation, pretty much quoting the Attorney General based on the submission that he made in South Africa there to say, yes, they actually blocked the former president. And then Mao Sampa puts up a list of President Hakainde Hichilema and says the only thing that he's achieved is self-praise and the rest of the opposition. That's Mao Sampa there, material member of parliament. News diggers, government differ with FRA. We haven't signed any memorandum of understanding with the Democratic Republic of Congo on the maize export. So if you remember, there was that scandal coming through, which is still going. Edgar Chagwa Lungu family says there is no secret talk over Lungu's remains. Who is Hakainde Hichilema talking to? That's Makebi Zulu's reply there. So if you remember that statement that came from the president, they say there is nothing going on. The only interaction between the Zambian government and the Lungu family is in that court proceeding. So the next submission is coming from Makebi Zulu. As you may be aware, as of yesterday or a couple of hours ago, it was the state that submitted those documents that you saw where they admitted to say they blocked Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And yeah, so the court case continues. So the next data that is expected is where now the family is there to reply to the submissions coming from Attorney General and pretty much the Zambian government, which is likely to be on the 25th of July 2025 from that submission. So this court case is not ending anytime soon from the look of things, but as things stand, that's where it is. And that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.